It's the Flow Friday Night Sports Show, and let's talk EP netball. There is a bit to get through, folks. We had the country championships last weekend, and lots to talk about with the queen of EP netball, Jo Franklin, who joins me on the line. How are you?
Yeah, better today than what I was over the weekend.
A little bit crook over the weekend, they tell me.
Yeah. The lurgy caught up with me, but anyway, all good now.
All right, well, that's good to hear. We're going to quickly have a look through, as best we can, the results for the weekend for Great Flinders and Eastern Eyre Netball Associations, who sent sides off to the country championships. Great Flinders in the seniors actually had a couple of girls representing other associations, and we'll get to those in a moment. But first of all, let's talk about the Great Flinders proper and their association teams, all the junior grades. How did they go, Jo?
Okay, so they sent over a 13 and under, 15 under and 17 under, and they all obviously had a great time, and they worked really hard. It's, with so many teams, Jace, it's really difficult to get the divisions and the pools right from the start. But, you know, they do give it a really good crack. So on the Saturday, the girls play anything up to 5-6 games, and then from that they are divided into pools for the Sunday, which they play through those, and then that takes them through to their final placings matches on the Monday. So with the Great Flinders 13 and unders, they ended up playing in Div 1, and unfortunately on the Monday in their place finals they lost both their games there, so unfortunately they weren't able to play off in a grand final there, but they had a right real crack at it and they had a great weekend, and their coach was really happy with them, and so that's the main thing, and they'll all come back with that experience under their belt and work out the rest of the season back over here.
Exactly right. So it's a very, very long carnival for these kids.
Oh,
the amount of games that you play, it's crazy, isn't it?
It is crazy, and yeah, by the Monday in that last game, everything's hurting. But you know, they hung in there, and they were playing in Div 1, so that was you know, they did really well on the first day to get through to that. So that was well done to them. The 15 and unders, they played in Div 2 after their results from the Saturday games. They made it through to the semi-final, and they gave it a right real crack. That actually was streamed, that game, and that, yes. But they lost it by 5, which meant that I think they finished around about 6th in that division, I think. Okay. Somebody, I'm not right there. Sorry, Justine Stokes, who was the coach there. But, yeah, they did really well. They worked really hard, and, like I said, got to watch that game, and the girls certainly gave it everything that they had. That took us through to the 17 unders, which, of course, Bookie Neindorf, she was coaching them. After their Saturday results, they played in Div 2. They just missed out on playing in the grand final. They had to they missed out in their semi-final. They lost by 5, and it was really a tight game. They sort of got down by that amount, and then they just weren't able to peg it back. As you know, it's only 2 halves, so right. It always makes it a bit difficult. But that actually meant that they finished 3rd in their division overall, so a pretty good result, really. So, yeah, they were pretty happy with their weekend, and so through to their seniors, they had some girls who played for Eastern Eyre, and Eastern Eyre did quite well with the side that they put together. They really did have a bit of everybody. They had some Great Flinders, some of their own, and even a girl from Port Augusta who helped them out. But so Great Flinders had Sid Claughton, Nikki Schubert, Christy Zirk, and see, I'm going to forget somebody, aren't I? Who helped out Eastern Eyre, and they ended up playing in the B division, and then they had Keely Mason and Ella Wedd, who went away with Port Lincoln, who unfortunately ended up in Div B, which they weren't really happy about. They really wanted to play in Div A, but they certainly showed that they were one of the best sides there and went through and cleaned up in the Div B and took out the Division B championship. So
not just that. This is one of the more bizarre things I think I've ever heard. The Division B champions actually beat the Division A champions during the championship. So that tells you all you need to know.
Absolutely, and not just like very convincingly, Jason. Like anybody who has watched that game, because it was actually in the end it was streamed, so I did have a little bit of pull there, and at the Adelaide Entertainment Centre, and honestly, Keely and Ella were just fantastic in that game. Very strong, very accurate, played really, really well, as did all the girls. But talking about Great Flinders, they should be very proud of the way those two represented them. Not only just in that game, but for the whole weekend. And they beat Western Border quite convincingly in that game. And what an experience for the girls playing at the Adelaide Entertainment Centre. They got to sit in the change rooms and experience the luxury chair that you get to sit in, and almost they made the most of it. It was they really enjoyed it, and I know that Keely and Ella, they gave it everything they had, and absolutely got the team over the line. And in the end, they won Division B final quite easily as well. So they did really well. And like I said, the girls from Great Flinders who represented Eastern Eyre did a really good job there. And Eastern Eyre certainly wouldn't have been able to go away if it wasn't for the support of those Great Flinders girls. And I know that Eastern Eyre and Port Lincoln both want to thank Great Flinders for allowing their girls to go away and help the other associations get teams in the senior comp, of which they ended up with 14 teams in the senior comp down at Country Carnival. So I have no doubt that will definitely continue. The country associations certainly made sure that Country Champs Committee were aware of the fact that they do not want to see the senior competition drop away, and it's very successful over 2 days.
Yeah, as it should be. So to Eastern Eyre, congratulations. I think their seniors went down in an elimination final in Pool B, but or in the B grade. But to moving on to their other teams, I think there's 17s, 15s and 13s. Now, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong here, they played in Division 1 in both the 17s and the 13s. Is that right?
Yeah, they did. The 13s played in Div 1 Pool B, and they were beaten by Western Border 28-17 in their final, which meant that they finished 9th overall in Div 1. So a really good effort for those girls. Their 15 and unders played in Div 2 Pool A, and they lost to Northern Areas in a really close game, actually, 14-12 in their final, which meant that they finished 8th overall in Div 2. And then Minnie Dunn, she coached the 17, so she was running around in a coach's jacket rather than her white umpire gear, and loved it. They played in Div 1, Pool B. They did really well, got through to the finals, but they lost to Mid Hills in their placement game 33-27, which put them 7th overall. And like you said, their seniors, they played in the B grade. They lost to Barossa and Light 18-32, defeated Adelaide Plains 28-21 and drew with Port Lincoln. They were the only side that really got close to, other than, I guess, are on the first day in the first game, and as we all know, Port Lincoln never play well in the first game at any carnival. But just a bit of a tradition that we need to get over. But 27 all to Port Lincoln, and we ended up winning the division. So that was a really good result for them. But then they went on and lost their elimination final to River Murray 24-22. So really successful carnival for them as well. And like they said, they were glad to be able to take a team away in the senior division and be competitive.
Good on them. That's fantastic. So, all in all, a very successful weekend for both associations, or for all Eyre Peninsula associations. And look, let's move into this week's matches. But before we do, anything else out of the country champs we need to be aware of?
Just really quickly, I mean, lots of umpires. If it's not for umpires, then obviously haven't got the game. But there were several umpires who went down with all of the associations, and some of them went for badges, not necessarily a lot of them who were successful, but it's about getting down there, having a crack, getting your critiques and then working on it. But young Marty Messon, who did receive her C grade badge a couple of weeks ago actually over here, but she actually was presented with her C badge when she was down in Adelaide, and several of the umpires came back with some good critiques, just didn't quite get their B badges, but certainly plenty to work on, and well done to those. And of course, I know that both associations really, really want to thank their sponsors who helped to get the girls over, because it is a very expensive little exercise, and they really do want to thank all of their sponsors, and way too many to go through, Jace. But, we might get a chance at some stage to do that. But, we all know how grateful we are for the sponsorship that we get on Eyre Peninsula for our netball.
Absolutely. Can't send these teams over without it. So well done to all of the girls, manageresses, coaches, players, umpires, supporters, anyone who made the trek and hit the highway to go over and support the girls in their efforts over there at the Country Champs. Congratulations. And now we're back to club matches, mate.
Oh, we are. And, almost halfway through.
Yes.
I think not in round nine in Eastern Eyre and Great Flinders. So it's certainly moving along, and some very interesting games in both associations, actually.
There is. In fact, I think what we'll do is we'll start with Great Flinders netball and their upcoming round of matches. So first of all, we've got Cougars, top of the ladder. They'll start almost unbackable favourites against United Yolanda, you'd think, Joe?
Yeah, they will. There's no question about that. Look, the United Yolanda girls, like we mentioned, they're certainly building, and they had a really good game their last outing. But Cummins Capini are certainly building. Ella Webb was just amazing on the weekend, and she will continue to that form. I have absolutely no doubt whatsoever. They've got height all over the court. They've got experience. They've got some youth, and like I said, United Yolanda, a very young group. Certainly, they're finding their wings and they're getting bigger scores on the board. So I know that Rhiannon and Foster, they won't be taking Yolanda very lightly, but I think that they will just be too strong and too tall, too skilled.
All right. Look, let's move on to Eyre United versus Lock. Big game, this one. I know it sounds a bit weird when we're dealing with a side that hasn't won a game yet, but they've had their foot on the till, Eyre United, and Lock have to win this. This is must-win stuff.
It is a must-win game, and their coach absolutely knows that. But Eyre United, look, they only lost by a goal to Tumby, and, Tumby had a couple out, but, they are building, and some of those girls have been away to Country Carnival over the weekend. They had a right real crack down there. They come back. They're bringing back that little bit of extra toughness and a bit of knowledge with them. So they certainly will be up and about. I have no question about that. And it's out at Angara. And Lock have actually got 3 out. Sarah Hurrell is missing. Eliza Graham's out of defence, and Jazz Pearce through the centre court as well. So they're bringing in Kiara Williams to fill the defensive spot. They're bringing Megan Hanson and Hayley Pearce through to the mid-court. So, a little bit untried there. So, like Tara said, they know how tough the Saints will be, and they know that they have to win this game. It's one of those that you have to show that you can replace what you're missing and stand up and get the win on the board.
Exactly right. And the last match of the round is the most important and the match of the round without question. Elliston Districts at home to Ramblers. Now, the winner of this game will go comfortably into second spot on the ladder. The loser is not only right back in the ruck, but could find themselves, depending on margins and things like that, out of the 4 by the end of the round.
I know. It's just how close it is. It's just crazy, to think that you could be anywhere from second to fifth with just one win or loss is just crazy. It's ridiculous, but that's the way it is. And look, Ramblers have got everybody this week, and a couple of bodies are probably just a little bit sore. Kills is probably just a little bit sore after a really big weekend, but she's tough as, and she'll certainly be out there giving it everything that she's got. And some of their juniors who played in 17, so they will be a little bit sore. Sid Claughton played for Eastern Eyre. So, like I said, over half of their team were away at Country Carnival. Elliston Districts had a couple who went away. But, look, Keely is coming off of a really good Country Carnival, and I reckon she's got her mojo happening now, and I think that will really help Ramblers. Elliston Districts, they're hoping that they'll have back the ones that they had missing against Cougars the last time they played. Kelsey Hull, Sally Newton, Victoria Henderson, and they're hoping Zoe Phelps might be over her broken arm issue. So that will certainly strengthen them. Nikki Schubert, she had a great carnival down in Adelaide, and if they've got Kelsey Hurrell back in there with her, they are a formidable duo back there. And Nikki does just have a little bit of wood on Kills. Even down in Adelaide, it was a draw. And Nick was back there in that defensive unit. So, Kira could have that in the back of her mind. I've told her she shouldn't, but, and so Keely and Matilda, Creddy, they will need to be on song. But, and then at the other end, Ramblers have got Abilene Burrows and Kira Simons, who are both really tall. They'll certainly be putting the pressure on the Elliston District goalies, who in their last outing only shot at 66%. So Kate is certainly looking at them to be lifting that stat for sure. And if Abby Lee and Kira can keep them down to that shooting percentage, then I actually reckon Ramblers could almost get over the line here. It'll be very close. I'm thinking only maybe a couple of goals, but I'm thinking that this could be their opportunity.
Could be. I'll stick with Elliston Districts at home. When in doubt, pick the home team.
I know. And how hard is it to pick black, white over red and white? I don't know, Jason.
I know. Let's go to Eastern Eyre and have a look at their A-grade matches for this round, and a couple of very interesting games here. First of all, at Kimber Districts will welcome Central Eyre United. The Storm will come to town. Now, the Storm haven't troubled the Kimber Districts or the Eastern Rangers of the world just yet. Here they get their chance.
Yeah, they do. I still think that Kimber will be too strong on the day. I think that they're coming along quite nicely, and Saran was away on the weekend at Country Carnival, and again, she was amazing as well. But I think that they have the experience, and they've just also been together a little bit longer. I think Whip is a very clever coach as well, and she will make sure that she rotates her players and that they will all be able to perform at their best. And I know they're certainly working, the Central Air the United girls are certainly working towards putting something special together. They've got that bit of height there. I really do think that Kimber at home are always really tough, and so I don't know that Central Air United will get a win on the board in their travels this week.
All right. Let's have a look at the other game, which is going to be tight. This one's at Port Neale. Ports and Cow. Traditionally, these two are fighting it out for bottom spot or the third and fourth. Traditionally, now they're fighting it out for a finals berth. So, Cow have got the edge at the moment, you would suspect, but Ports are improving.
Ports are improving, and it does depend on who they have available and who they don't have available week in and week out. Unfortunately, they just haven't necessarily been able to put together a consistent seven, so that has made it a little bit difficult for them. Tracy is certainly looking for an improvement from those girls after their last game. She said Central Air certainly showed them a thing or two, and she was really hoping that the Cowgirls can pick themselves up and after a week off and can get over the line against Ports, because she said really that this is a game that they've got to show that they can put it all together and that they can get another win on the board, and that is exactly what she's hoping that they'll do. And unfortunately for Ports, as I said, they're never really 100% sure about who they are or aren't going to have available for them from week to week. So until they actually train, they're always a little bit in doubt. So that doesn't necessarily help not being able to get any consistency and getting a lot of court play together. So, but they're working on it, and they certainly the seven that they put out in the court each week give it a right royal crack. But it is about getting that consistency to be able to put a winning score on the board.
Certainly is. Should be an interesting round of netball across the EP. Club matches back at least for the next fortnight before we get a bit of a break. But Joe, no doubt you'll be there watching. I've got no doubt.
Oh, yeah. We'll be heading down to the Lincoln Court to watch young Myla, a little under nines. Laugh, Jace, but I'm actually umpiring.
Look out.
Yeah, look out. I know there's not a lot of running involved, as I can tell you. Pop down and then hang around and have a look at some of the other games down there this week. So, because like you said, a week off and everybody's getting back into it. The second half of the season is always very interesting.
It is. So look forward to chatting with you about it next week. Joe Franklin, enjoy the weekend.
Yeah, you too, Jace. Bye.